Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. Today I'm excited to give you guys a full demo and rundown of the new Waves StudioRack. I'm very pleased to announce that Waves V11 plugins are fully compatible. You can see I've got all my Waves V11 plugins here loading up in StudioRack. All of the previous presets that we've done are fully compatible with this new version, and everything loads as expected, all the settings. And we've also got a completely new and rebuilt interface, as well as new features that we're going to dive into, a lot more flexibility with the macros. So I'm going to cover all that here in the demo. But first, let me just play back a little instrumental idea that I'm working on, and I've used StudioRack throughout this session. All right, so first let's talk about the 808. I'll just pull up the preset. What this will do is add some harmonics, and we've got some nice little macros here. So real quick, I'm going to show you a power tip here. We can actually map these to more than one parameter in different plugins. So for instance, right now, if we right click, you'll see that the harmonics control for the 808 is mapped to the max bass harmonics gain, which is this control right here. Now let's say we wanted to simultaneously add a control for, say, a harmonics for our mids with vitamin. So I'll just type in vitamin here, and let's pull up an instance of vitamin. And another thing I'm going to show you guys is that visually we can click this pen, and that will keep the plugin up. So previously in the other version of StudioRack, it would load all in this window, but you could just have one plugin up at the same time. With this, you just click that pen control, and then that'll keep all of them up here at the same time. We can pull up as many as we want. So we'll click the pen, and we're going to right click again, and I'm going to go down here to vitamin, which you'll see all of the different parameters that we can map to. And I'm going to go to our, let's say, band C, and we'll go to band C gain, which is that control right here. Other cool thing about this new version of StudioRack is that we have a lot more control over the macros themselves. So if I click edit, we're going to see this complete sort of interface for editing all the macros in the preset. And so you see the harmonics for the max bass gain, and you see for vitamin. Now let's just say that we wanted to set the minimum, we'll keep that at 0, but we wanted to set the max to, let's just say, what is that, 40? So I'll just go over here to the max value, type in 40. And then let's say on the max bass, we wanted the max here to be, like -6 or something like that. So I'll just go type -6. And then let's say we wanted the minimum to be not quite 0. So we could just put -20, let's just say. So now once we do that and go back to our control here, you'll see at 0, it sets our min value. And then at our max, we get our max value. It gives you a sweet spot that's easier to hit. So let's just play this 808 back with everything bypassed. You'll see we have a master bypass, and then we have a bypass for each individual plugin in the chain. So let's slide over to a drum loop. We've got another instance of StudioRack, and this is just drum loop effects. And I've got some things mapped here for some different modulation, some reverb. Also, I like to do a high pass and a low pass on drum loops, just so that that's going to give me some room to, add my own kicks, high percussion elements, and that sort of thing. So you can see with just those 5 macros set how much control and power we have over that preset. And I really didn't have to open up any of those plugins. I was just showing them so that you could see what we're controlling there. but a lot of flexibility with the 8 macros that we can now map. Let's check out the guitar here. We've got a preset for that. It's muted ambient guitar. And let me show you real quick too. If I open up all of the plugins in the particular preset, let's just say we pin them and we have them up there, and let's just say we're mapping our macros or whatever, and we just want to be able to kind of get a good glance at all these at once. Once we're finished editing those, you can just click this close all button and it'll collapse all of the plugins down into the StudioRack interface. So this is the dry guitar. Let's take a listen to that. And with. So I've got all these things that I would typically be applying to a guitar like this. You know, we've got the doubling, kind of adds a cool chorusing effect. We've got reverb and delay, and then I've even got an octave control to add in that low octave. You can see this is kind of like a bypass control, because what it'll do is just turn those octaves in doubler on and off. Another really big power tip for you guys using the new version is that we have both a parallel split mode as well as a multi-band split mode. So if we do parallel split, what that's going to do is give us these parallel processing chains. So we can do as many as 6 up here. And that means that we're going to be able to process these independently within this one instance of StudioRack. So this is really useful for those of you who want to do something like maybe parallel compression. Maybe you want to do a parallel distortion processing for certain things. So we get all 6 of these and we can engage them and disable them on their own. We get independent panning, and we also get independent leveling of all these. So very, very powerful. And then you also have a multi-band split. So for instance, with the 808, let's just say we wanted to split the processing from, you know, like 200 down, like we do in a lot of the videos, and we process the mids. Maybe we wanted to, you know, add distortion. So I can do that. I can set the crossover here, and we could add more bands if we want to. But let's just say that we wanted to leave the low subs alone, and then we wanted to process this mid with some distortion. What I can do is just move the plugins that we were kind of processing the sub, getting more out of, like max bass and R bass. We'll leave the limiter last. So we just have all that there. And let's say that we wanted to put Vitamin, that plugin that we were using to get more of the mid harmonics. We'll move that over so that it's only processing what's above 400. You can even narrow or widen the stereo width for just that band. So I can more closely narrow all of our lows, and so I can do that independently of the rest of those bands. All right, so we've taken a look at the new interface, showed you guys some of the workflow enhancements as well as the new and improved macros. Let's go ahead and load up a vocal preset, and this is one that I've designed to be particularly effective in terms of low latency. So we'll just open it up. It's from the Divine Mixing Vocal Chains V3, and we've got some processing on it like Waves Tune Real Time, some EQ, the SSL channel, a lot of stuff going on here, but still very effective with StudioRack, because StudioRack is designed to be most efficient with these Waves plugins. And if you're curious, you can also click here on the preset and scroll down, and this will tell you how much latency each of the plugins is causing. So if you're wanting to do tracking in this way and you're sensitive about that, you can check, and you can see here the plugin latency obviously for Waves Tune Real Time is 0, and we'll just track something. I've got some lyrics here, haven't recorded this, so I don't know what the delivery is going to be like, but just to give you guys an idea of tracking with a full chain here loaded up in StudioRack.
I know that you scared that I run again. Relationship problems were none of them. All of the aches that you hate, feels like there's no sense to relay. Most of them leaving with nothing to say. Once we get started, I won't hit the brakes. Only good vibes, bad ones replaced. Now that I'm here, I'm just trying to stay. Your bad moves getting more frequent. That dude dropped the ball, he had a sequence. And I don't know why you waste your time. And intentions ain't pure like mine. Oh, know you've been low for a long time, carrying the baggage and it's about time. Feeling is lighter with me. No one that's dedicated, down and ready for you. Yeah, it was fun. I think I'm gonna call it Splash StudioRack Edition. Thanks for listening. I'm out.
All right, y'all. So that is the new StudioRack, now compatible with Waves V11. I'm going to put a download link in the description below. Great to have StudioRack back, have access to all the presets we've been working on, all the settings, and also get this great new GUI, all the workflow enhancements, the new and improved macro controls. Really, really powerful stuff here. So if you have any questions about StudioRack or anything that has been changed here, feel free to leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. If you learned anything in the video, please like, subscribe, and consider sharing. And we'll talk to you soon.